Okay, we're looking at the forthcoming matchup between the monster Naoya Inoue and Murodjon Akhmadaliev. This will take place September the 14th in Tokyo. Let's look at the contestants and the contest. This is Inoue far left. This is Akhmadaliev on the far right. Now, Inoue is a very celebrated and successful boxer. Undisputed at super bantamweight and bantamweight. He's held many world titles, including light flyweight, junior bantamweight, and the unified bantamweight. Now, it's important to note that he's held world titles from 108, the WBC light flyweight champion, to 122, the WBO super bantamweight champion. So he always operates within that 14-pound range. There has been some talk that he'll go up to 126 in 2026. We'll see. Okay, this is the Monster 1.0 down here, and this is the Monster 2.0 at the top. Career-defining fights. We have to say that the two fights against Donaire are career-defining, because even though Inoue fought an aged Donaire for both fight 1 and a much more aged Donaire for fight 2, Donaire is such an outstanding athlete. In fact, Donaire is the only person that Inoue has agreed to fight twice. We're going to look at those two fights in a little bit more detail. But there's another fight which is career-defining. This is his fight against Omar Narvaez. And Omar Narvaez does not get the credit he deserves. He's always seen as the person that Inoue knocked out in the second round, and that doesn't do him justice. He was a superb world champion. He had many successful defences of his world crowns at different divisions. In fact, he holds the record for the most number of world championship defences. I think he holds it with Chavez Sr., the great Mexican superstar. We'll look at those two fights in a little bit later. So who's he beaten? Okay, well, the following fighters he beat were reigning world champions: Rodriguez, Butler, Fulton, Hernandez, Narvaez, Donaire, and Tapales. All of those are world champions. But he also beat 4 people that were former world champions. And I think it's important to know that his CV would have been a little bit more stacked with richer names if some of the richer names hadn't actually avoided fighting him. There's a set of people who would not get in the ring with Inoue for obvious reasons. Okay, this is his record from fight 16 to fight 28. He's had a couple since then. He's recently fought Kim Jejun and Ramon Cardenas. Now let's talk a little about his abilities. Well, the monster, he has debilitating body shots. He's renowned for his powerful and precise body punches. He targets the solar plexus and the liver with his left uppercut and hook. He has unorthodox combinations. He can throw a variety of punches from different angles, making them very unpredictable. He can seamlessly transition between different punches with different hands. He has relentless aggression. He has unbridled power. And also he's a good counter-puncher, and he's very agile. Now, his training regime is under the auspices of his father, and it's very focused. He's always in peak physical condition. He spends a lot of time on body work. A significant portion of his training is dedicated to body punching combinations. This is prepared by his father. He's mentally very well prepared when he gets in the ring, and he works through these very sophisticated technical drills under the auspices of his father. This gives him a great edge over all of his opponents. Now, this is the matchup between Inoue and Donaire. First one took place in 2019. All 3 judges gave it to Inoue: 116, 1111, 117, 109, 114, 113. Inoue suffered a fractured orbital bone and a cut over his right eye, but Donaire was downed in the 11th round. Now, the return took place 3 years later, and if it was an aged Donaire during 2019, it was a much more aged Donaire in 2022. This was not a successful evening for Donaire. He was severely knocked out in the second round. Many people look to Mike Tyson as the first monster 1.0, and they look at Inoue as Monster 2.0. Next opponent is going to be this chap, Akhmadaliev. Now, what can we say about him? Well, he's technically gifted. He has impressive hand speed, not as fast as Inoue. He has good combination punching, not as fluid as Inoue. He demonstrates good IQ in the ring, not as much as Inoue. He has good stamina and work rate, not as much as Inoue. He's adept at targeting the body, but not with the severity of Inoue. He's mentally tough, as is Inoue. Now, what are his weaknesses? Well, he's weak under pressure. He doesn't do well under pressure. He doesn't have the great knockout power of Inoue, and he doesn't have the experience of Inoue. Inoue has fought several super elite boxers. He's fought many excellent boxers, and he's fought very good boxers. And Akhmadaliev hasn't fought the same level of boxers in that division yet. Akhmadaliev is vulnerable to counter-punching, and he's a small guy. He's smaller than many of his opponents. He doesn't have the same height, doesn't have the same reach. So some of his weaknesses were definitely shown up by his loss to Bantamweight. But we can say, to give him his credit, he's a skilled pressure fighter who utilizes body punching effectively. So this is his CV. Only 13 fights. He lost in his penultimate fight to Bantamweight, who then lost to Inoue. My pick in any contest between Inoue versus anyone else, but in this particular case against Akhmadaliev, my pick is that Inoue will win that quite handsomely and quite easily.